So if you remember, these are the deities which are given in the introduction to the D10 chart and how to read it in the first video in the playlist. You can look it up. But just to recap, the deities are the archetypes of energies which a person will have, which they bring to the profession in the D10 chart. Now, mind you, these deities or these archetypes are only meant for D10 chart, not so much for D1 chart. Okay, forget the natal chart for the time being. Only the Dashamsha, the 10th divisional chart. 0 to 3 degrees leadership, 3 to 6 degrees strong work ethic, determined people, 6 to 9 degrees Yama, discipline, strong sense of responsibility, 9 to 12 competitive spirit, 12 to 16 excellent communication skills. Other things I mentioned, I'm quickly recapping. 15 to 18 degrees, they are very dynamic and flexible, quickest to adapt. 18 to 21 degrees, it's more of financial wealth, astute sensitivity, right? Accountants kind of. 21 to 24 degrees is ability to find purpose and meaning in life. This can once again apply to all kinds of professions, mind you. Just because you're in the medical field doesn't mean you're stuck in hospitals or clinics all the time. You might be able to bring a higher meaning, like Dr. Hegde in India, right? He's bringing a higher meaning to medical science. 24 to 27 degrees is intellectual capability and innovative thinking. 27 to 30 degrees is stability and long-lasting success. So mind you, all of these 3 degrees and 10 divisions in the D10 chart, in the career chart, are very important to consider. So any planet or point in those particular degrees will have a propensity, will have a drive in that particular direction. That's all it means. It will have that quality. Okay? This is very crucial to understand. So you should understand this when you're determining the qualities of the planet in a D10 chart. Now let's see Pushya Nakshatra, what it brings to the table. So there we go. Jyeshtha Nakshatra falling in the second half of Scorpio after Anuradha Nakshatra. The following talents and abilities: research and analysis. You might find themes of Scorpio also playing out here. Okay? So pay attention to that. Scorpios loves digging into secretive stuff, hidden stuff, research. May excel in research and research-oriented professions. They may thrive as scientists, investigators, analysts, researchers, or in roles that involve any kind of data analysis or problem solving. Next in Jyeshtha, and this is very dominant for Jyeshtha Nakshatra, by the way, legal and investigative professions like private investigators, like lawyers, detectives, forensic experts, legal advisors, or in roles that involve uncovering and presenting evidence. The police, the law enforcement. Okay. In a crazy world like this, these people are precious, right? Counseling and therapy. This is a lot from legal and investigative, isn't it? Counseling and therapy may excel in counseling and therapy professions. They may thrive as psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, counselors, social workers, or in roles that involve helping others. And just aside there, I missed the earlier one. Research and analysis, you got to look for placement of Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars in the proper positions in Jyeshtha or otherwise. Legal and investigative professions, you need Saturn, Rahu, and Mars. Counseling and therapy, you need Saturn, Mercury, Jupiter, and Moon. Moon is needed wherever you talk of emotional bonding, emotional connect with others, like clients, in order to carry out some kind of a counseling, some kind of a therapy. Okay? Just as a general rule, remember that. Leadership and organizational skills. They may excel in managerial and leadership roles. They may thrive as executives, project managers, team leaders, or positions of coordinating and managing complex projects. This is another theme of Jyeshtha. Jyeshtha is good at management, like Vishakha is good at management, like Kritika Nakshatra is very good at management and leadership roles. Mars, Saturn, Rahu, and Mercury placements are what you got to look for within Jyeshtha Nakshatra. We shall see ascendant by ascendant because the ascendant Nakshatra varies, right? So therefore, Jyeshtha Nakshatra themes will kind of be fluid in that dynamic. Financial management is next. They may excel in financial management careers. They may thrive as financial analysts, investment bankers, financial advisors, or in roles that involve handling finances or making strategic financial decisions. Now, when we talk of D10, always look at the houses of finance and wealth when it comes to finance management, like the ninth house, like the fifth house, like even eighth house to an extent when it comes to joint assets. In the second house of wealth or 11th house of gaining wealth. These are the wealth related houses. Okay. You got to be careful of how you evaluate that. Healing and alternative medicine is another one. They may excel in healing professions. They may thrive as alternative medicine practitioners, energy healers, acupuncturists, or roles that involve promoting well being through alternative healing modalities. For that, you got to look for planet Saturn, Mars, and Ketu. See, Mars is the one who wants to cut. If you want to have alternating healing modalities that involve some kind of a physical trauma, like acupuncture is physical trauma, you need Mars there. You need Saturn and Ketu also, because Ketu is typically associated with alternate healing modalities. Okay, especially in the sixth house of diseases, in 12th house, if you want to talk about healing large masses, that kind of thing. Okay. Now let's go to ascendant by ascendant and see what this brings. Okay. So for an Aries ascendant, number one, yeah, what do we have? It falls in the eighth house, traditionally eighth house of Scorpio, which is about giant assets, talking in terms of career only here, which is about giant asset financial management, that kind of a thing. Like I said, eighth house can be about giant assets. It can be about uncovering hidden stuff. So there are professions there, but let's go back to the ascendant. Ascendant always governs. Okay. In ascendant, we have Ashwini, Bharani, and Kritika. Kritika will be more of financial management. Bharani will be more of counseling and therapy. So you have to look for Saturn, Mercury, Jupiter, and Moon placements in the eighth house or aspects of Jupiter from some other place. Always look at the deities. Always look at the deities and the angle for looking at the drive of the planet, what it wants to do. Ashwini will be more of leadership and organizational skills. Ashwini wants to lead. Ashwini is the leader of the pack. It starts the whole thing going. So they may excel in managerial positions, project managers, CEOs, leaders, executives, the upper level executives, right? But that may also be in an area of sort of law enforcement, like the lawyers, the judges, that kind of a thing. Because eighth house is the house of secrets. They may also work in investigative organizations, which work behind the scenes. Eighth house is the house of behind the scenes. Okay. Let's see Taurus. For the Taurus ascendant, now 8 falls in the seventh house, number 8. Scorpio falls in the seventh house. Therefore, Jyeshtha falls in seventh house of partnerships, any kind of business partnerships. There is leadership, like a partnership organizational skill. There is financial management that can also be done as a partnership, entrepreneurship exercise, private investment firms, and so on. But let's go to the ascendant for the health. Ascendant here in Taurus is Kritika, Rohini, and Mrigashirsha. Okay, so Mrigashirsha would be, I would think, research and analysis. Like a research and analysis also involves typically a teamwork. There is a team of scientists, engineers, and so on. So they may be working as a team there because seventh house is all about others. And Mrigashirsha loves to explore. So research and analysis, you got to look for Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars positioning if it is there. Rohini is more like business like. Financial management, I can think of. Investment bankers, not so much. Financial advisors, yes. Handling finances of others, yes. Like a private investment partnership firm, that kind of a role. That can be good there. If your ascendant is in Rohini and you have those planets in Jyeshtha Nakshatra. And then Kritika, again, leadership and management skills. So you have leadership and organizational skills, executives, project managers, team leaders. Kritika loves to lead. They have that fire. Fire is needed for leadership. Let's see Gemini. For the Gemini ascendant, Jyeshtha Nakshatra falls in the sixth house of debts, enemies, competition, health, and diseases. Right? So they may choose profession related to curing that. Sixth house typically stands for doctors, surgeons, even lawyers. Right? It's an aggressive house. But if Jyeshtha falls in that, think of law enforcement, one of them, right? That's legal profession. There is legal profession there, investigative professions that can do well in there. It can do well in healing, counseling and therapy, yes. Healing and alternative medicine, yes. So let's take the help of the ascendant in Gemini. Vrikshisha, Punarvasu, and Ardra. Ardra, and think Ardra again loves to dig deep, something like Mula, something like Vrikshisha, continuously searching, right? Even Vrikshisha and Ardra. Ardra will be more of law enforcement, in my opinion. It's more of legal and investigative professions, police detectives, lawyers, forensic experts, legal advisors. That can be Ardra because they know the hidden stuff. They know that the lies behind the scenes. Law enforcement has to do a lot of digging up of dirt that people tend to hide. Yes. So Ardra is loves digging deep anyway. Naturally, this is the way you got to evaluate what comes to you naturally. What do you naturally shine at? That's my endeavor to bring with all these videos. Yes. You got to know your natural, beautiful abilities that every person has. Vrikshisha. Vrikshisha can be good in counseling and therapy because Vrikshisha is a softer nakshatra. You got to understand Vrikshisha is soft, very soft, tender. They like to do tender things. Even though it's placed in a hard house, it's also the house of daily work, sixth house. So they might want to do more of counseling and therapy, psychologists, social workers. They would love to do that. Punarvasu, on the other hand, is financial management. It's more business-like. So they might be financial analysts, investment bankers, advisors is more of a role of a daily role. They might do that also. Let's see Cancer. For the Cancer ascendant, now Jyeshtha falls in the fifth house. Fifth house is a house of creative intelligence. So always first think of house characteristics. What it leads to? It's a creativity, intelligence shining the maximum is fifth house. It's the house of speculative market, speculative gain, stock market. You see? So financial management comes to mind. What else is creative there? Research and analysis, creative, yes. Healing, alternative medicines, yes. Fifth house is a good house for that because it's the house of health, right? 12th from the sixth house is fifth house, which is the house of health. So it can be related to health. It can also be related to counseling and therapy because it's more softer. So let's go to the ascendants. Punarvasu, Pushya, and Ashlesha. So Punarvasu, financial management, straight away. Pushya loves to teach. What is a teaching kind of profession there? Counseling and therapy comes to mind. Psychologists, therapists, counselors, social workers, right? Pushya is a Devgana, which is again more Jupiterian. It loves to teach. Okay. Ashlesha, on the other hand, may be related more to healing professions because Ashlesha is an inborn powerful healer. Inborn, ruled by Nagas. Okay, they have the power of healing. So healing and alternative medicine comes to mind. So if you have things like Saturn, Mars, Ketu, even Moon in Ashlesha, sorry, in Jyeshtha in the fifth house and ascendant in Ashlesha and D10, they might be prone to energy healers, Reiki, alternative medicine, acupuncturists, all kinds of new age alternative modalities. Ketu has to be there for that. So that's wrapped up Cancer. Let's see Leo. For the Leo ascendant, Anuradha falls in the fourth house of home, heart, family, affairs, real estate and land, financial management relating to land and real estate, or even real estate management. So let's take the help of the ascendant. Magha Nakshatra, Purva Falguni, and Uttar Falguni. Purva and Uttara always seem to have similar kind of themes of professions. Don't get mixed up. That's easier to evaluate. All kinds of Purva and Uttara. So Magha Nakshatra is all about leadership and organizational skills. Okay. But they may do it more pertaining to that in their homeland, because fourth house is for home, not so much necessarily abroad. So Jyeshtha might do that at home, back home, and they might do it more on the financial side of things, because fourth house is the house of finance also. Purva Falguni and Uttara Falguni, on the other hand, is little more creative, so they can do research and analysis. Not so much legal, they are not interested in legal. Counseling and therapy, yes, they can do that. Not so much leaders, not so much finance. Healing and alternative medicine, possible, but you got to look at the planets and placements and the angles in the deities, which we already covered. Okay, that's Leo. Now for the Virgo ascendant, Jyeshtha falls in the third house of skill sets, third house of competition, leadership and organizational skills, lots of competition there. Legal and investigative professions, lots of competition there. Competition is what? Very Mars kind of energy. Third house, Mars is exalted. Let's take the help of the ascendant. Uttara Falguni, I would think more of leadership and organizational skills. So would Chitra be her leadership and organizational skills. Hasta is more of healing and alternative medicine. That can be the case. If especially Saturn, Mars, and Ketu are posited in Jyeshtha, in the third house, an ascendant in Hasta, these people might be Reiki healers, that kind of a thing. Virgo is very grounded, so hands-on healing. Think of hands-on healing. Ketu, Saturn, and Mars, Moon even, sitting in the third house, with ascendant in Hasta, might give them some powerful healing capabilities. Okay. Chitra, on the other hand, is more creative, more of earth and air. Research and analysis also can be possible for Chitra Nakshatra. Yes, definitely so. For the Libran ascendant, Jyeshtha falls in the second house of earned wealth, money, your value system, how you speak to colleagues. These are general, whatever I put there are general characteristics. Okay. Now we got to go back to the ascendant to take some help. Chitra would be more interested in making wealth. So would Vishakha. So more related to leadership and organizational skills and financial management, both Chitra and Vishakha. Swati is highly individualistic, more of leadership and organizational skills. These people might even end up becoming CEOs of some company, taking leadership positions. So that might be the case for Libra ascendant. Let's see Scorpio. Now for the Scorpio ascendant, Jyeshtha lands right in the ascendant, which means what? If the nakshatra lands right there and if your ascendant is on Jyeshtha in D10, that means all of those qualities, at least 80% of those qualities, you will carry in any profession that you do. You might be a doctor, you might be a lawyer, you might be an engineer, but you will carry this kind of an attitude. That's why I call it talents and abilities. You will carry the similar attitude. Doesn't matter who you are, I don't care who you are, you will carry most of these qualities, if not all. So then what do? You look for planet placement in the nakshatra in different houses wherever they are. Check out the deities and check out the dominant direction where your career path wants to go. Okay, what is your dominant talent? Everybody has something or the other. We should see this more in the case studies for better understanding. Okay. For the Sagittarius ascendant, Jyeshtha falls in the 12th house of large hospitals, large organizations relating to medicine, hospitals, working abroad, working behind the scenes in terms of profession. So research and analysis comes to mind, right? Legal and investigative, working behind the scenes, counseling and therapy, working behind the scenes, healing and alternative medicine, also working behind the scenes, but we are talking more of a larger collective. So let's take the help of the ascendant. Uttara Ashada, Purva Ashada will be more of working for large hospitals, could be one of the professions, could be legal and investigative services, working for courts, the lawyers, legal advisors of the court, working with larger people. 12th and 11th is larger set of people in terms of organizations. It's not so much of a private practice. 6th and 5th house may be more of a private practice. 4th might be private practice. But when you go to 11th and 12th, it's all about masses. In terms of Mula Nakshatra, it will definitely be about legal and investigative professions. Mula wants to dig deep. It may be about research and analysis, working in this thing, like even scientific investigation, scientific researchers who are working for their entire life in a lab somewhere, discovering beautiful stuff for us. It might be one of those kind of professions. Mula wants to dig deep. Yeah. For the Capricorn, Anuradha falls in the house of wealth, in the house of masses, in the house of social media, large masses. So it's about financial success, community, social network, etc. What in this is social network? Okay, working for a large organizations, financial management, they might be into financial management. Let's take the help. The ascendant Uttarashada, Ravana and Dhanishta. Uttarashada will definitely be more into financial management. Shravana will be more into counseling and therapy, teaching type of roles. Writing books for masses because it's about masses. Self-help books. Shravana is a Devgana. Dhanishta Nakshatra, on the other hand, will be more of which one? Which is more creative in nature. Well, in this, I don't see much of a list there. It might be again more into finance, Dhanishta, wealthy nakshatra. They might be into investment bankers. Yes, definitely hedge fund managers, that kind of a thing. Yeah. Let's see Aquarius. For the Aquarius ascendant, Jyeshtha falls in the 10th house. So for Aquarius ascendant in D10, Jyeshtha will become one of the dominant aspects for career determination. Whatever falls in 10th house typically tends to determine where you are going in that. So Vishakha Anuradha Jyeshtha now. In this case, Jyeshtha Nakshatra. So let's take the help of the ascendant. Dhanishta will be more of wealth and finance management. That can be a dominant factor. So you've got to look at Jupiter, Mercury, and Rahu. Rahu is needed for finance management. Mercury and combination Rahu, right? Jupiter provides the knowledge, but Mercury and Rahu together make a fine pack like a wolves. They are cunning. They know how to plan finance. Shatabhisha, on the other hand, will be research and analysis because Shatabhisha is master of abstract. So, for bringing research down from an abstract level of ideas and concepts down to physical reality like engineering or development, you need Shatabhisha, the power of Shatabhisha. They may thrive as scientists, investigators, analysts, researchers, and so on. So, you've got to look for Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars placements in Jyeshtha Nakshatra in the 10th, ascendant in Shatabhisha. Dhanishta, once again, financial management, kind of leadership, but not so much. Dhanishta is not interested in leadership that much. Okay, let's finish up with Pisces now. For the Piscean ascendant, Jyeshtha Nakshatra falls in the 9th house of gurus, of good luck, of working in banks, banking institutions. So finance management comes to mind. Let's go to ascendant, Uttara Bhadrapada, Purva Bhadrapada, and Revati. So Purva Bhadrapada in this case will be more like a moksha kind of thing. So it will be counseling and therapy, right? Counseling and therapy is also a guru, really. Not just Sadgurus of this planet, but somebody who is counseling you like an everyday person. He's also your guru. He's advising you, psychologists, therapists, counselors, social workers. These are your everyday gurus, my friends. That can be it for Purva Bhadrapada. Even for Uttara Bhadrapada, because it's a very emotional nakshatra. Uttara Bhadrapada, Purva Bhadrapada in Pisces are sort of the humanitarian people. So they'll be good at things like healing, alternative medicine, counseling and therapy. More counseling and therapy because 9th house. You know? Revati, on the other hand, is all about financial management. So they might be the investment bankers, right? So we'll finish up with this. Next, after Jyeshtha, which one comes? Mula Nakshatra. We enter Sagittarius. Until then, take care, be safe.